Hey guys, Nick from Udio here. We're here at Kin & Co with the lovely Anne from Evolve Marketing. We thought we'd just do a little interview around social media marketing. So you've been with Evolve for, is it 2 years?
2 years,
yeah. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, definitely. Well, Evolve Marketing's been around for 18 years now. Founded by Suzanne Borden, who has been in the industry for quite some time. And she has a background in some pretty prominent businesses such as Colorado Group and Spotlight. And myself, I come from a mixed background. So I've worked in fashion, I've worked with startups, I've worked with a health brand. So I guess predominantly throughout all of that, I've worked in a more digitally focused role. So I've had quite an extensive amount of experience with social media, websites, that kind of thing.
So given that you're a fair bit of an expert in this field, what do you think is the best way to engage with customers in a transparent, personable way?
Well, first of all, what we've found is, and through a lot of research that's out there at the moment, is consumers are expecting businesses to actually be on social media these days because it shows that they are personal and transparent, purely because it then opens them up to content that they can't control, and to feedback as well, so that that information is out there and people can gain access to it when they need to. So just that is a step in the right direction, but then in that same respect, then being on social media, which is supposed to be a social platform, it's then important to utilize it in a social way. So producing content that is not so business oriented, but also a little bit more of a conversation, and encouraging engagement by asking questions and showing them more of an internal view of your business, and that might be through sharing content about your staff or I guess your approach and your background story and all of that kind of thing.
So on that subject, how important do you think origin stories are for companies?
I think it's incredibly important in any industry, because people like having an emotional connection to things, even businesses. So when they connect with you on social media, they're basically showing the rest of their friends and followers that they're connecting with you, and they want to show that they align with what you value and what you're putting out there in terms of your content. So I think it's important to basically show that audience what you represent uniquely and what your point of difference is, because then that in turn will drive brand recognition, because then once that person starts engaging with you and you've got a unique brand, and then their friends start to see it over and over again, they'll most likely follow you as well.
So once you've started getting yourself out there on social media, what's the best way to isolate your customers in order to create content for them?
Well, I guess so. Once you're already creating a conversation on social media, there's a few different ways. I mean, us being based on traditional marketing methods, having a director that's been in the industry for almost 30 years, if not longer, we like to focus on creating a brand for ourselves first and really implementing that from a very early stage, because we see every part of social media or even any kind of marketing measure as a building block. So each conversation that we have, we want to be able to say in a specific way that we know builds up our brand image. But then more specifically as well, when you're using social media, you can also target specific audiences by analysing the engagement that you're already getting. So with initial conversations, Facebook will start tracking who those people are, what their demographics are, what their behaviours are, and you can utilise the resources on Facebook, such as Facebook audiences and insights, to then develop a strategy around those demographics and behaviours and target those people specifically, and then also create content that's then relevant for those people.
Okay, cool. So once you've got that traction going, how do you then find the balance between paid content and organic reach?
Well, I think it's still important to just, as I said earlier, put out that personable type content, and that would be stuff that you would just keep on so if we're talking about Facebook, just on your page itself that you're putting out, not particularly putting money behind, but just putting out there for the people who already follow you and have already shown an interest in you as a brand or as a business. And then I think it's still important to utilize the paid advertising options throughout Facebook, because that allows you to reach more people you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach, because there is so much noise on those social media platforms that you need to cut through.
Yeah.
So in terms of keeping a balance, I think it's still important to make sure you invest time into maintaining brand loyalty with your existing followers, but then also still putting content out there for the people who haven't yet discovered you yet, but will probably still value your content and what you represent.
So obviously a good way to reach these people is through video. So what do you think is the best way for a brand or a personality to utilize video on social media?
Well, it really depends. I think we would look at it on a case-to-case scenario. So it would be dependent on the client, the industry, and also, again, those analytics that we're tracking and how we find people are responding. So I guess we would start out with a testing phase. We would trial out a few different things. That could be, short clips. It could be longer storyline type videos. It could be more like a Q&A like this. And then seeing what gets the highest engagement, what people are actually clicking on, and then just creating more of that. And then also still utilizing that resource of audiences and making sure we're targeting the right people with the right videos. So you could have people that respond to the 3-second videos, and you can still keep making those videos for those people, but then you might have the people who are still interested in the storyline videos, and you want to create those still for them.
So any predictions for social media?
Social media.
Maybe just for next year. I mean, I know it changes very quickly.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say. Yeah, it does change quite frequently. I know that Facebook is definitely trying to create more of a balance between that social atmosphere and maintaining that business aspect. Although they definitely want the dollars coming in from all that advertising, and to be able to take advantage of the fact that they have access to so much consumer information. They still want to make sure that their members, being their primary audience or primary customer base, are still getting the experience that they signed up for. So I think it's going to be tougher for businesses to get themselves out there, to get their brand image out there. But I think it's just going to make it a bit more diverse and mean that we have to be a bit more creative, so we can expect more content in different ways.